Welcome to this home practice class on layering complexities. I'm Laura. My pronouns are she, her, and a brief audio description for anyone it's useful for. I'm a white female, I have brunette hair that's tied back in a bun, and I'm wearing a turquoise vest top and I'm sat in my wheelchair. So this session is layering complexities. Now, some useful preparation sessions for this one are the groundworks session that Amy led on learning material and mapping movement, and also my seed session that's on textures. They'll be quite useful as we're going to be using some of those ideas in this class. Also, another complementary class to this one is Lucy's home practice class on spontaneity, as she also uses layers in that session, but in a slightly more freer way. So as I said, this session is layering complexities. So we're going to look at building up different movement through adding layers. For example, we'll layer on things like focus, direction, spine, and gestures. But before we get started, just make sure that you've got plenty of space around you, you're in some comfortable clothes, and you've got some water to hand. So we're going to start off with an improvisation. And in this improvisation, we're going to build up different layers and then peel them back. So the first layer that we're going to use is our focus, looking around the space. The second layer that we're then going to include is thinking about the way our spine moves. The third layer is thinking about directions in the space. And the fourth and final layer is adding in gestures. So by gestures, I mean any movement that you do with your limbs, your arms or your legs that aren't a functional movement. And then at the beginning and the end of the improvisation, we're going to do a brief check-in just to notice how we're feeling and if there's anything different. So find a comfortable place to start, upright position, and you might want to close your eyes for the check-in. I'm just going to take a scan of your body, top to bottom. Notice how you're feeling right now. Maybe notice what your energy levels are like, or if there's anywhere on your body that you need to take extra care of today. So, and then allow your focus to move about the space around you. Taking in all of the room. Notice some detail. And it might be where you are. Maybe if you're at home, as you look around, you see maybe jobs that need doing, or a bit of clutter that you want to tidy. Just acknowledge it, but let it go, because this is time for you and your body. Keep the focus moving around. And then notice the intensity of your focus. Is it a soft gaze? Is it a little bit more of an intense stare? Play with the different intensities. And you can let your focus dart, wander around the space. And then we're going to start to include our spine with this. So as our focus moves, it leads our spine. finding some twists, curves, ripples in the spine. Always leading with the focus. And then when you're ready, you can start to bring in a bit more of a transfer of weight or a change of direction. So we're thinking focus, spine, and change of direction. Maybe play with how you change direction. Is it your focus that goes first and the rest of your body follows? Does it happen all together, or does your focus follow afterwards? Play with the different speeds. And then when you're ready, you can start to include gestures. So let the movement ripple out from your spine into your limbs, arms and legs. Remember your focus. You're going to look towards what's moving or look away from it. Again, remember to think about varying your speed. Remembering focus, spine, direction, and gesture. Then we're going to start to peel the layers back away. So let the gestures start to fade. Then fading direction, so you're just in one direction with the spine and the focus. Let the spine quieten down, fade away, so you're just coming back to your focus. Then gradually let your focus settle on one point and let the movement fade away. Then you can close your eyes again and have another check-in. Notice if anything is different. Are you feeling a bit warmer maybe? A little bit more in tune? And then when you're ready, you can open your eyes again. So now we're going to build up a short exercise using layers. The first layer that we're going to do is thinking about just the direction, and then we will later come back and add spine and add gestures. So don't worry if you feel like the first layer is maybe a little bit easy for you. We want to make sure that we're nice and familiar with each layer. We'll practice each layer with music, But if you feel at any point that you've got room to take on a little bit more, I can give you some suggestions of other things you can be thinking about. So we're going to start with our leading side. So for me, this is going to be my left side, so maybe just give it a little bit of a wake up. And we're going to start with a transference of weight, or rocking forwards and back on that side, forwards and back, and then to the side and side, leading side first and the other way. And then we're going to have a shift forwards in the space, forwards together, and then shift back together. So that little bit is rocking forwards and back, side, side, shift forwards, together, back, together. Then the next bit, we've got a pause for 2 counts. Pause, doing nothing. 1, 2. Then we have a small twist to the diagonal. So I'm twisting to the front diagonal on my leading side. Twist and return to the screen. And then a complete turn, but we're splitting it in 2. So I do a half turn towards the back, going via the same leading side. And then half turn, keeping on going to complete the turn. So the whole thing on that side, on your leading side, you have rocking forwards and back to the side and side, shifting forwards, together, back, together, pause, 1, 2, twist, 3, return, half circle, full circle, back to the front. We're going to just mark that through on the other side before we do it with music. So we have our rocking on the other side, forwards and back, side to side, shift forwards, together, back, together, pause, 1, 2, twist, return, half, turn, complete the turn. Excellent. So we're going to do it with music so you can feel really familiar with it. But if you feel like you've got a little bit of space for something extra, then things you can be thinking about is finding real precision with your placement as you shift or change direction, and also feeling about your presence in the space. Try and really own the space, particularly that moment of pause. It's not a dead pause. Try and really keep it alive, keep the energy alive in that pause. Okay, so with music. Your dominant side ready? Leading side. 5, 6, 7, 8. Rock forwards, back, side, side. Shift forwards, shift back. Wait. Twist, return, half. Complete. Excellent. And we're going to do it on the other side. 5, 6, 7, 8. Rock. Side, side, forwards, back, wait, twist, return, half, turn, full, turn. Excellent. Okay, we're going to move on from here and add the next layer. So the next layer is our spine. So for our rocking forwards, we're going to think as we rock forwards, leading from the top of our head, we find a curving forwards, and then as we rock back, we recover back to upright. As we rock to the side, again leading with the top of our head, we're going to find a snake in our spine. So snaking one way and the other way. So that with our rocks, we go curve and up, snaking one way and the other way. Then for our shifting forwards, we're going to think about leading from our chest and opening up to the ceiling. So we go forwards and open, and then as we reverse back, we're going to think about being pulled from the middle of our back, being pulled backwards, so we have a bit of a contraction. So we pull back together. So that is rock and curve, recover, snake, snake, open, forwards, pulling back. From there, we have in our pause, we're going to fill that with a circle in our torso. That could be anywhere in your torso. It might be from your shoulders, ribs, center, or hips. And we're going to go, first of all, in the direction that is our leading side. Then we go back, away, and forwards. So that's leading side first, back, away, and forward. So you should then be going in the right direction for your small diagonal twist and return. Then for our circle, the first half of our turn, we're thinking again that open, and then the second half we're thinking closed. So half turn, open, half turn, closed. Excellent, we'll do the whole thing and then practice it on the other side. So we have rocking and curve first. Rock and curve, snake and snake, open forwards, pulling back, circle in the torso, twist, return, open, half turn, close, half turn. Excellent. Let's try that on the other side. So, other side leading, we have our rock and curve. And snake, snake, open forwards, pull back. Circle goes towards the dominant side first, leading side, back, around, then a twist, return, half with an open, half turn with a close. Excellent. We're going to do that much with music. Again, if you feel that you've got space for a little bit extra, then you can think about, things you could think about are really trying to fill the movement. So whether that's just traveling that little bit further or shifting your weight a bit further, maybe it means you really got to get down and find some folds in your hips. So try and really fill the whole time. Okay, so with music. 5, 6, 7, 8. Curve. Snake. Open. Pull back. Circle. Twist. Open half. Turn. Close. Excellent. We'll do that on the other side. 5, 6, 7, 8. Curve. Snake. Open forward. Pull back, circle, twist, open half, turn, close. Excellent. Okay, so we've got one more layer to add on, and this is our gestures. So, if you want to go back and have a little bit of a practice before you move on to the gestures, that's fine. Make sure you're nice and comfortable and familiar with the movement. The gestures are, as we have our rock forwards and our curve, our other side, that's not our leading side, flicks out to the side and comes back in. So flicking out and in. Then as we have our snake side to side, as you snake with the spine, you also include a scoop with the arm and a scoop with the arm. Some kind of scoop, side and side, the direction you're snaking to. Then for our shifting forwards and opening in the space, you're going to think about leading with your tips, so either your fingertips or maybe it might be with your toes. Try and find a real sense of that leading and pulling you forwards. And then to go back, we're going to go with our elbows pulling us back. So we have, from the rocking, we rock and flick, and up, scooping, scoop with our snake, and then reaching forwards with the fingers, back with the elbows. From here, we have our circle with our torso. As we're finding that circle, finding a bit of a ripple, so I'm going to ripple my fingers onto my wheels, and I'm going to think about squeezing. So there's a kind of squeeze as well as a circle. And then for our little twist to the diagonal, I'm going to flick across my body this time. So as I twist, I flick across and back, the direction, the leading direction, flicking across that way. And then the final bit is for our turn. For the first half turn, we're going to find on our leading side, not on our leading side, on our following side, we're going to find an arc that starts going forwards, over the top and back. And then the second half, we reverse it on the other side. So it goes back, over the top and forwards. So that should look like this. As I turn, I open, arc back, and then reverse with the other side. So it kind of goes naturally from the wheels. As you push the wheel, you keep the hand moving. As you pull the wheel on the other side, keep the hand traveling to complete the circle. So that all on that side. From the rocking, we have rock and flick and back, snaking and scooping. Leading with the fingers, leading with the elbows back. Squeeze and ripple as you circle, flick across the body and back, open, half, turn, close, half, turn. Excellent, we'll try it on the other side. So we have rock and flick and back, scooping with the snake, leading with the fingers, pulling back with the elbows, ripple and circle, flick across the body and back, arcing open, arcing closed. Okay, let's have a practice with the music. We're going to do it first side and second side with a little pause between, and then we're going to do it again, going straight from the first side into the second side. Okay. Five, 6, 7, 8. Flick, scoop, pulling forwards and back, ripple and circle. Flick across the body, open and close. Great. On the other side, 5, 6, 7, 8. Flick, scoop, reaching forward, pulling back, ripple and circle. Flick, open, close. We're going to go again. First side straight into the second side, remembering all of those things, precision, filling out the movement, presence, and of course, the different layers. Ready? 5, 6, 7, 8. If you want to, do it again a few more times so you can feel really secure in the movement and think about all those different layers. Again, you can always come back to it another day if you're struggling. Now we're going to build up a phrase of material, and we're going to do it in a very similar way, adding on layers. So to start with, I need to shift over to the side a little bit, as it's going to travel into the space this way. And the first layers that we're going to add are the direction and spine together. So we're facing the front, and the first thing we're going to do is shift and travel across the space, but starting with going backwards. So my side away from the direction I'm going to travel opens, so I have a little shift backwards. My side nearest the screen opens, so I'm facing the screen again, and then this first side closes, so I'm finishing on a small diagonal. So that much again. So we have opening from the far side first. So it pulls back, opens, and crosses. You might find if you're standing, your feet pattern goes, you step behind, open, and step across in front. From here, on this diagonal, we're going to take a snake with the spine, leading with the top of the head, snaking forwards and up. From here, we're then going to lean out to the side. So leaning towards the other front diagonal, the one that you're not facing. So that is snaking up and lean out to the side. If you want to make a wider base, so you can lean that little bit further, then that's great. Let's just put those little bits together. So again, resetting yourself to the side. We pull back, open and cross, snake through and up and lean to the side. From here, going to have a little twist in our shoulders away from the screen. So we twist and return, and then have another circle in our torso, like we did in the previous exercise, finding wherever that is for you, finishing slightly closed over towards the screen. So we have from our lean, we have twist, return, circling in the torso, finishing closed. From here, the next movement is like a drop with a rebound. So it goes into a double drop. So it goes drop, rebound, drop. So we have drop, rebound, drop. Whatever that is for you, it might be quite small or it might be quite big. So drop, rebound, drop. From here, as we're curved over, we're then going to slowly roll up through the spine to come back to upright. Let's go from the top. So we have our crossing back, open, front, snaking through and up. Lean, twist, return. Circle in the torso to close, then drop, rebound, drop, rolling up. From here, once you get to upright, we're going to find a snaking pathway backwards. So my side that's nearest the screen is going to open first, and then the other side open again, so I'm facing onto the side. Just that much again, finding it's like a little S shape going backwards. Open one side, open the other side. From here, I'm going to do a half turn away from the screen. And you can have a little curve in the spine forwards as you do that, and up. From here, there's a weight, little pause. And then we curve our head towards the screen, scoop back the other way, round, turning back to face the front and rolling up. So let's go from the snaking back. We've just done our little drop, rebound, drop, and our rolling up. We have snaking back. 1, 2, have a half turn away from the screen, a little pause. Then we curve towards the screen, reverse over the top, round, coming back to face the front. That's the whole thing of the direction and spine. So let's give that much a try with music. Reset yourself over to the side. And there's no counts for this phrase, so just do it in whatever time works for you. Ready? And peeling back, open and cross. Snaking through. Lean, twist, circle to close. Drop and rebound, drop, rolling up, and snaking back. 2, half turn, little pause, curving to the side, reversing all the way round, coming back to the front. Great. So if you want to go through that a couple of more times so you're familiar with it, that's fine. I'm going to move on to adding the next layer. So, again, resetting yourself to the side. So this layer, I'm going to add some more arm gestures or gestures with limbs. And I'm also going to give you some places where you can think about different textures that might help with the movement. So for the first one, our shifting, our kind of wiggly shift to the side, I'm thinking about the movement or the engine of the movement starting from my shoulder. So it's my shoulder pulling up that pulls my hand back on the wheel. So the first side, it's shoulder pulling up and going back. The second move will be the other side, shoulder pulling up, back. The third move will be the first shoulder reversing and going forwards. So with the shifting, that's pull back with the shoulder, pull back to open, and then close the first shoulder. And you can really try and find that connection from your shoulder through to moving. It might be maybe you imagine that there's a string on either side, pulling you up, up, and forwards. And let's just do that one more time so you can really find that connection. Pulling up, pull up, and close. From here, our snake. So the spine snakes forwards. At the same time, you're going to send a limb back, snaking backwards. So I'm reaching behind me with my arm. You might also choose to do it with your leg, or both maybe. So you've got two snakes happening in opposite directions. Snaking through. Lovely. From here, the limb that's reaching backwards is going to swing down like really heavy and then come up. Don't worry if you've done your leg reaching backwards, you don't have to whack your leg up really high. You could either just bring it so your knee is up, or you could change it as it goes down, that it's your arm that comes up. So, but the overall quality is, having done the snake, there's a heavy swing to reach up. From here, we have our lean out to the side. As we lean out, we're going to reach in that direction with our arm. Then we have our twist, and as we twist, this arm is going to curve in and reach towards our opposite shoulder, and then open back out again as we untwist. So from that lean and reach, twist, reach to your shoulder, and open back out. Then the next bit, we're going to think about this arm that's, or the limb that's reaching, we're going to think about threading behind ourselves. We pass it over to the other side, bring it all the way around to in front of us. That's as we're finding that circle in our torso. So it's a bit like we're following the torso with our limbs. So we have that reaching out. We've done our twist and open, threading through, behind, and in front to our closed position. Let's go back to the top. So this is thinking about leading from our shoulders, the strings pulling us. So we twist, open and close, sending the snakes 2 directions, sweeping down and up, opening to the side. And actually for this open, let's make it a bit of a slice, so you can really cut through the air there before we twist, reaching to our shoulder and open, threading around behind and in front. Then we have our double drop with the rebound. For the first one, I'm going to think about, as I drop, I'm sending my elbow up in the opposite direction. So you have a little bit of a two-way before you rebound and everything goes down. So that is from here, we have the drop, rebound, drop. From here, as we roll up, a really nice image I'd like you to think about is that of a toothpaste tube. So as you roll up, someone's squeezing the toothpaste up the tube. So find that real squeeze as you come up to upright. From here, we're going to have our snake back. And the texture for this is really silky, smoothie? New word. Silky, smooth, and slinky, maybe. So fine. And you can again think about maybe leading from your shoulders or leading from your hips as you snake back and snake back. From here, our half turn, you're going to think about bringing your knees up as you turn. Just being careful not to knee yourself in the forehead. So you bring knees up and down as you land to the other side. From here, this was our little pause moment. So to fill up the pause, we're going to find a snaking pathway with our hands. So I'm leading with the tip of my fingers, and the pathway is crossing the body and opening. So you could do that with your legs as well. So the tips lead, cross in, and then curve round and open out. So we've got our finish out wide. Let's go back to the slinky move back. So we've just done our toothpaste moment, and then we have snaking back, snaking back. This half turn is with the knees and down. Then we have snaking across the body and open with our limbs. From here, our curve towards the screen is thinking about melting as you go. Melting over and down, then reversing round. And you can use the tips of your fingers, your arm, to make that circle a bit bigger as you come it round to the front. One little thing I'd like to add is a quality to this, the snaking across the body and open that we've just done. So I'd like to find a bit of resistance to it. So a bit like you're moving through really sticky toffee. So you've got that different resistance before then it's nice and easy melting down, circling, coming round to the front. That's a lot of information. Let's go from the top. So we'll go through it one more time. Then if you need some time to pause and practice before we do it with music. So this leading with the shoulder. And across, snaking two directions, swinging down and up, slicing out. Curve, reach to your shoulder and open. Then threading through, around, close. Our double drop with the elbow, toothpaste, squeezing up. Our silky snaking back, knees up and down. Then our chewy toffee snaking across the body and open, releasing to melt, curving up and over, bringing ourselves back round to the front. Like I say, have another practice if you want, and we're going to do it now with some music. Okay. Again, no counts, just find your own timing. Ready, and leading with the shoulders, crossing. Snaking two directions, heavy drop and up, slice, twist, feeding round, threading round, double drop, toothpaste, Silky snake backwards. Sharp knees up and down. Toffee crossing the body. Easy melting. Then follow it up, round, curving to the front. Let's do that one more time before we add on the final layer. Ready, and snake. Down and up, slice, curve, threading round, double drop, toothpaste, silky snake, knees, toffee crossing the body, easy melt, scooping up and round. So if those 2 layers are enough for you for today, that's absolutely fine. You can go back and repeat that and just practice and get more familiar with it. And maybe come and visit this session again on another day. But if you're ready and you would like some more layers, there's a few more details that I'd like to give you the option to add. So don't worry, it's not something for everything. There's just a few points where there's a little bit of extra detail. So resetting again to the side. And the first one is with this first movement, our crossing behind an opening. I'd like you to think of, if you've got space in your room, to find a bit of suspension and catch with this movement. So you're gonna find that pulling back with the shoulder, find suspend, and then catch as you cross yourself. So you might travel a little bit further. So you have that suspend and catch. Yep. From here, this next bit is all the same. So we have our snake dropping down and up, and then our slice. With our slice, as we slice and lean, the arm that's reaching out, the limb that's reaching out, I'm going to find some detail in my hand shape. So I'm going to slice down into a point, and then I'm going to, as I reach towards my opposite shoulder, I'm going to change my hand into a thumb, and then it will go back to a point. So slicing to a point, switch to the thumb, like you're pressing a button on your shoulder, and then as you open back out, comes back to the pointing finger. So those first 2 additional layers were resetting to the side again, finding that moment of suspend. Then this is the same snake, drop down and up, slice to the finger, switching to the thumb, back to the finger. Then this next bit is all the same, so the feeding round, behind and closed, our double drop with the rebound, the squeezing up of the toothpaste, and then this is another moment that I'd like to add something. For this bit, I'd like to add in a change of focus, and I've deliberately gone for one that's a little bit kind of uncoordinated. So it will feel a little bit weird, but don't worry about that. So as we snake back, the side that we open with, we're going to send our focus to the other direction. So you're sending it up and away, and up and away. So it should feel a little bit weird. So give this one more try. So snaking back, look away, snaking back and look away. Then this next bit is the same, the knees up and down, the toffee crossing the body. So from here, the next bit to add is that as we melt down, we're going to find like a little trickle with our fingers, a bit like raindrops running down a window pane. So we're reaching out and then we trickle down, following it with your focus. Then this is the same, scooping up, around, coming back to the front. So there was the extra suspension, The detail with the finger and the point, the funny focus, and then the rain trickling. Let's give it a go with some music. So I'm going to talk you through it the first time, and then the second time I'll do it without words. Finding your own pace. Ready? And find that suspend. And catch. Snaking through, dropping down and up. Slice to the finger. Thumb and finger. Threading behind. Dropping down. Toothpaste. Snaking back with a change of focus. Knees up and down. Crossing the body. Raindrops. Scooping up, round, and round. Excellent. Resetting. And let's do it again. Try and really eke out every movement. Ready? Brilliant. So you're welcome to go back, go through it a few more times if you want. If you're feeling super confident with it and want a little bit extra, you can always think about more detail with your focus and maybe find some detail with your use of breath through the movement. But for now, I'm going to leave it there. I hope you've enjoyed it. Do your own cool down, whatever works for you. Whatever you need, make sure you're looking after your body. And if you've enjoyed this class, if you found it useful, please do give it a like. Maybe if you've got any questions or anything, do put it in the comments below. And to keep up to date with all of Stopgap's releases for home practice, then remember to subscribe. Thank you very much for joining me.